Yeah. Could we get an update on Trent?
Yeah, had a surgery, and everything went well. So we'll keep monitoring him on a daily basis.
Do you expect him to practice this week at all? Or?
I don't know yet. We'll see how he's feeling Wednesday when we get back here and go from there. But I imagine he'd be down Wednesday, and hopefully we'll get him up Thursday, Friday.
Jay, you've won your last 2 games coming out of the bye. You lost your first 2 games coming out of a bye. What have you learned about how to handle a bye week, and what you need to be focusing on, and what maybe is just noise or things you don't need to be worrying about?
Well, I think it's more important to focus on what we've been doing. Had some success with some of our problem areas getting them fixed, but continue to coach our guys up and get them where they're supposed to be. And I think that's just continue to work through our system, both offensively, defensively, and special teams, put the players in the best spots possible, and study what we're doing and make sure we're branching off and getting better.
How much, though, of handling the bye just comes from experience, from having done it a few times?
You know what? It's just mainly the guys have 4 or 5 days off, so it's nothing you can do about that. The big thing is getting them back here, getting them focused as fast as possible. We have a Monday night game, so we have a bonus day, which is good. That's actually a benefit for us to get these guys back in here, get a little work today, get them sweating, and then tomorrow get them off, and then really have an extra day to prepare for New Orleans. I think the big thing is getting them mentally and physically ready to play for a very good New Orleans team on the road.
On the same topic, do you remember the last time you in your coaching career had such an early bye week, this early, like week 4, like September?
I don't remember yesterday hardly, so no, I don't remember. It is early, but, it's just the schedule makers. We have to deal with it, and, it came at a good time for some guys and probably not a good time for other guys, and that's probably the way it would be week 8, 7, or 6 if we had it.
Beyond the obvious, what are the other pros and cons that you would take from having a week 4 bye week?
I don't really have any pros and cons. I think it's just important for us to get everybody back here whenever the bye week is, get them back here, get the guys physically and mentally ready to play. That sometimes is a tough challenge. These guys have been out of the office for 4 or 5 days. We got to make sure we get their minds back into Redskins football, make sure they're studied their playbook and haven't forgot anything. Just refresh your memory today and tomorrow, and then Wednesday when you get back here, we'll start preparing for the Saints.
Can sort of rebuild that momentum, because you guys beat Green Bay. I feel like there's this good energy, and then you did have this early bye week.
I think playing on Monday Night Football helps a lot. I think you should be pumped up to come out of the tunnel against the Saints on Monday night. They're 3-1 and obviously led by a Hall of Fame quarterback again. So it's going to be a very exciting time for everybody. These young guys are going to have to step it up, and the veteran guys are going to have to lead the way. But should not have any problem whatsoever motivating the Cats for Monday Night Football.
How do you just handle this grind, because you now have 3 straight months of football?
Yeah, that's the grind. That's going to be the biggest challenge. 13 straight weeks of nonstop football. We have short weeks in there, sometimes a couple Thursday games, I believe. So that's going to be tough, keeping these guys healthy and ready. If I have to taper off practice from time to time, I will. But the big thing is they got to handle the grind, and they're pro football players. They should be able to.
You guys, you kind of experienced this last year because it was a bye after the 4th week. So was there anything that you learned even going through that to prepare for that grind that you could do even beforehand, just to make sure that the 12 straight weeks or 13 straight weeks doesn't wear them out? And obviously last year became an issue because of all the injuries.
Yeah, I think the big thing is how the guys are feeling, how we handle the 13 straight weeks of games. So I think that'll be on a weekly basis. The schedule will change from week to week depending on who's up and who's down, and if it's a Monday to a Sunday game, what have you. So we'll adjust our schedule according to how we're feeling physically and mentally.
With that, a guy like Paul Richardson, how do you he's dealing with the shoulder injury, so how do you monitor him and make sure that he can kind of get through that period?
Yeah, it's going to be important for him to find a day that he can practice and get some work with Alex, because he's a special kind of guy as far as he's a different type of receiver with the speed that he has, and so it's going to be important for him to figure out a way to get into practice a day or 2 a week and go from there. But I think a lot will depend on how he's feeling, and we'll get with the trainers when the time's right and go there.
Continuing on the schedule, considering you're going into Monday Night Football, typically you guys will go Thursday through Saturday, so you almost have 2 bonus days with today and Wednesday. So how are you just kind of scheduling out this week, making sure that you get the guys what they need, but also the rest, and they're not tired by Monday already?
Yeah, today was just a bonus day. We just did us against us, and we just got them back into the football mind, breaking the huddle, did some situational work. Tomorrow they're off, and then Wednesday we'll introduce New Orleans, and we'll go with the base game plan and a sub-game plan, and obviously we'll move on to the red zone later in the week and short yardage and goal line like we always do. But we do have a bonus day so we can shorten up practices a little bit and spread it out and just really focus in on situational work this week.
You guys jumped out to a lead last year in New Orleans. Just what were you able to do well against Breeze, and then what did you notice that you didn't do well when the comeback happened?
Yeah, I think it was pretty solid game for what it was at 55 minutes probably on both sides of the ball. On the road it was a tough environment, and offense, defense, special teams, played well. And in the last 5 minutes we failed to get a first down, and they scored 2 touchdowns and 15 points in 5 minutes. And obviously that'll be addressed again. We'll work on our 2-minute coverages and our communication and our techniques and our fundamentals, which is huge against a team led by Drew Brees. He'll find a mistake and make you pay. So we got to try to give him as little mistakes as possible and continue to get the pass rush on every down, and know where Kamara is and know where Thomas is, and go from there.
Jay, quick question. Is there any concern about right now the offense with the passing game kind of catching up to the running game? So far the running game has been pretty good the first 3 weeks of the season, but with some of the injuries to the offensive line, are you guys at all a little bit concerned about some of the injuries and how that might affect the running game, which has been pretty successful this season, as the passing game kind of catches up?
Yeah, we're a little concerned, but not yet. I think we feel pretty good about our health right now up front. I think later in the week we'll have a better indication on who's up and who's ready to go. But backups can step in and play. Like Ty Inseki came in and played pretty well last week against Green Bay, and if Bergstrom stepped up, played well. If Laval can't go again, so we have some guys in here in-house that are ready to play. If guys are injured, that's the way it is in pro football, and we can't lose a step because somebody goes down. We have to fill in and produce.
Jay, that's what I was about Laval. Do you expect him, I guess, what's the update on him? And I assume Peterson and Norman, you expect them to be back going full?
Yeah, we'll see. We get back. The injury report will come out Thursday, but we're just going to take these guys on a daily basis, see where they're at come Wednesday and Thursday. We'll let you know then.
Jay, you're kind of looking at about 6 weeks here where I think it's all NSC teams, and it's also teams in many cases that are probably potential playoff teams. Do you look at this 6-week stretch with any more value than you would another part of the season, given what you have here?
Yeah, I think cliche as it sounds, the only way you can handle pro football is one game at a time. Each game is a different problem and different set of issues that you have to work through. This one's going to be on the road against New Orleans, led by Drew Brees, and very good defense. Lattimore is a heck of a cover guy, and so they have some good players on defense also that can give you fits. So I think each week you have to take it for its own entity, each play, each quarter, and then move on to the next one when the time is right. And we'll worry about Cam Newton and whoever we play after that.
Would you value a game against like a Cam Newton, against the Carolina or New Orleans more than you would value maybe an AFC team, or is that necessarily?
Division games are the most important, obviously, and then common opponent. So I think the value of each game is very important. We learned that against Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a good football team. They've been in all 4 of their games, but we didn't play our best game, unfortunately. So each game counts for one, and at the end of the day, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, all those things count and they add up, and they're important to playoff bursts, wild card, home field advantage, all of it.
Was Chris a Veterans Day today? Chris Thompson? Did he practice, or did he just have a
No,
Veterans
he just Veteran Day.